Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wondered if meeting people from different backgrounds actually makes us less biased, or if there is a catch to it? Today, we're diving into a mind-bending study that suggests sometimes the more you interact, the more you might actually agree with common beliefs about groups, even if those beliefs are stereotypes. This paper, and it is a good one, asks a super interesting question. How does our interaction with people from different ethnic groups change how we think about them? We all know about the contact hypothesis in psychology. The idea is that if you hang out with people from other groups, you'll get to know them as individuals, and that should reduce prejudice and stereotyping. Sounds straightforward, right? But this study in sunny Singapore, a really diverse place, found something a bit unexpected, a paradox even. First, let's get a simple picture of what the researchers were trying to measure. They looked at two things: how people mentally connect different personality traits, like is an aggressive person also likely to be seen as intelligent. And they looked at how people form these impressions from faces. They called this stereotype structure alignment. Basically, how much does your personal map of how traits go together match the average map that most people in a group have, especially when thinking about different racial groups? It is about shared understanding or consensus. So imagine you meet someone. Your brain quickly sorts them into categories, and then it uses existing ideas about those categories to form an impression. The researchers wanted to see if interacting with people from different ethnic groups changed this mental map, and if so, how. They even looked at two different kinds of interaction: the quantity, meaning how often you interact, and the quality, how meaningful and positive those interactions are. They had over 150 people in Singapore, a place with Chinese, Malay, and Indian communities, do a few things. First, they looked at lots of different faces from these groups, and rated them on traits like aggressive, competent, or friendly. Then they were asked about how they thought traits might go together for each racial group, like how likely is an aggressive Chinese person to be attractive. This measured their conceptual stereotype structures. Finally, they filled out questionnaires about how much quality and quantity contact they had with people from these different ethnic groups. Now, for the mind-blowing part, the researchers found that it wasn't just how much people interacted that mattered, but how good those interactions were. Specifically, they found that higher quality contact, meaning these were pleasant, meaningful interactions, actually led to people having stereotype structures that align more with the group average. This was especially true for interactions with minority groups like Malays and Indians. Think about it. The classic idea is that more contact leads to less stereotyping, right? This study suggests that for quality contact, it can actually lead to more agreement on how traits are perceived to go together for certain groups. It is like learning the shared playbook of how people in that group are generally thought of. This is the paradox. Instead of breaking down stereotypes by seeing people as individuals, high-quality contact, at least in this study, seemed to help people develop a more unified, culturally informed understanding of group traits. It didn't necessarily mean people were being more prejudiced, but that their mental models of how traits connect became more similar to the common cultural understanding. And get this effect was mostly seen in how people thought about trait associations, not necessarily how they judged faces directly. The study also did some cool analysis that showed how this might work. They found that for minority groups like the Malays, the quality of contact influenced how people thought about trait associations, and that in turn influenced how they perceived faces. It was like a chain reaction. Good contact changed your abstract ideas about the group, and those ideas then guided your face judgments. It was a complete mediation, meaning the effect on face perception happened through the change in abstract thinking. However, they also found that simply having more contact, the quantity, didn't have this effect consistently. Sometimes it even had a small negative effect on alignment for certain groups. This really highlights that the quality of the interaction is key, not just the frequency. So, what does this all mean? The researchers suggest that quality contact might actually be helping people learn culturally accurate information about how traits co-occur within a group. It is not necessarily about fitting people into neat boxes, but about learning a shared cultural understanding that can make social interaction smoother. Think of it as learning the nuances of a culture's social norms and expectations. This is a really important distinction. It is not just about seeing people as individuals, it is also about understanding the shared cultural frameworks that exist. For majority group members, maybe their understanding of minority groups is already fairly well formed through general exposure. But for minority groups, high-quality contact might be a powerful way for majority members to learn more accurate, culturally informed perspectives. This does raise some interesting points for minority group members. If majority group members are developing more aligned stereotype structures after quality contact, It might mean they approach minority individuals with more consistent, predictable expectations. While this can promote smoother interactions, it could also, as the paper mentions, be more constraining for minority individuals who have to navigate these more uniform expectations. It's like everyone learning the same script for a particular character in a play. The researchers also point out some limitations, which is good science. They mention that their study was in Singapore, and while it is a diverse place, future studies should use larger and more balanced samples, especially looking at how minority group members themselves perceive these changes. They also can't definitively say if people who already have better cultural understanding seek out higher quality contact, or if quality contact truly causes these changes. Longitudinal studies where they follow people over time, or experiments would be needed to confirm the cause and effect. Overall, this study challenges the simple idea that more contact always leads to less stereotyping. It suggests that quality contact can lead to greater agreement on group-based trait structures, especially for minority groups. This doesn't mean we should shy away from interacting with different people. Instead, it suggests we should focus on the quality of those interactions, aiming for genuine understanding and cultural learning rather than just casual encounters. It also highlights the need for diversity programs to focus on distinguishing accurate cultural knowledge from oversimplified stereotypes. This is a fascinating twist on an old idea. It tells us that interacting with people from different backgrounds is powerful, but the way we interact matters a whole lot. It is about fostering understanding that respects both shared cultural contexts and individual uniqueness. So, what do you think about these findings? Does this align with your experiences? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to Rubin's Mind Lab for more science explained, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next dive into the fascinating world of psychology. Thanks for watching.